Good morning, comrades. It is Wednesday, the 16th of March, 2021. Welcome to your daily Good Morning Comrade. How's everybody doing today? Oh, you know what? I was like rushing and I didn't even get to tweet out that we were live. So let me go ahead and do that right now. Appreciate it. I'll drop the link here. Good morning, comrade. Live now. Get in here. It is. Oh, it's Tuesday. Holy crap. G Wolf. You corrected me. I don't even know what day it is. I know it's 316, which everybody who's a dork wrestling fan is like, it's Stone Cold 316 said, just kicked your ass, which I don't know. That's kind of funny, I guess. As an old wrestling fan since the days of my youth, I always get a good kick out of something like that. But yeah, how you doing today, G Wolf? How's it going? Good morning, comrade. No, good morning, comrade. It's only Tuesday. That's like, I guess my like internal bio clock or whatever the fuck hasn't like reset yet because like I'm still exhausted waking up in the morning and I'm not usually so bad. Hey, we got an old wrestling fan there. Oops, that's the link for here. Yeah, I used to watch back in the day. It was yeah, a lot of the old like WCW and WWF, like Stone Cold Steve Austin was like the guy, and he was always the coolest because he was the guy that beat up his boss all the time. You stop watching it around the time it changed WWE. That's about right. I mean, I think the reason that they had to change it had something to do with the World Wildlife Fund, and there was like a lawsuit, and essentially they just had to change it. I don't know. It's ridiculous. But yeah, that was one of those things. Yeah, I'll smash that retweet button if y'all don't mind. I'll get some more eyeballs in here. If y'all have any stories, y'all can tweet them at me too, or drop them in Discord. I have a couple of them. A couple of good ones today. It's kind of a slow day today, though. I noticed with the news, so we can have some conversations. I put some new stuff up that I can talk about a little bit. I got the Bernie with the mittens right next to my son Petey, who is on the cover of Time magazine. And also, I put up a poster of my friend who ran for state agriculture commissioner. Her name is Marguerite Green. Working on her campaign was actually really cool because she was the first person that the BSA in New Orleans ever endorsed, and we actually put together a statewide campaign to support her, which was pretty sweet. She was like a DSA member. She's a teacher. She like grows her own food. She has her own like business where she essentially grows and sells like natural, organic, I guess, food. And she actually came on a live version of the show on the radio to talk about it. She's super cool, super nice, very, very smart. And yeah, she didn't win, but she wasn't expected to win. She got like over a quarter million votes, though, almost 300,000 votes in the state of Louisiana, which is like that's pretty cool. You know, we I think she might be running for it again sometime, and she got 300,000 votes running as an open socialist in Louisiana, which is sort of wild when you think about it for a couple of minutes. So I've always been really proud of the small part that I did on her campaign, and I wanted to put that up on the wall. I'm probably gonna put a couple more things on here. We had a no on Proposition 2 uh, in the city that just went through recently. I have a poster for it. I just have to hang it. That was one of these things where they were like doing a neoliberalism to the libraries here. Essentially, defund the libraries, give it to like a private entity, and chop it up. I have a sign in there. I'm probably gonna put it right next to on the other side of PD. Um, yeah, and we're gonna start building up, a little background wall, make things look nice. So how's everybody doing today? It is Tuesday, not Wednesday. It is the 16th of March, 2021. We don't need my pencils here. I've gotten very conscious of like how the stream looks lately. I don't know. I'm trying to make things look good in here. Make it look a little polished. I'm not like obsessed with polish, but you know, I'd like it to look okay. So what's going on with y'all? What's going on? What's up, G Wolf? What's the story out in Texas today? So yeah, well, have y'all lifted the mask mandate yet? Has that happened? Because it's getting up to that point. My still adjusting to the time change. Oh my god. Yeah, it is. I don't know what the problem is. Just getting my eyeballs open in the morning is brutal. I've been exhausted like the past 2 days straight, and yeah, no, I don't like it. Don't like it at all. So anyway, oh yeah, we did do a stream last night as well. Usually on like Monday and Wednesday nights, we're gonna do our recording sessions. That's for our podcast version of the show. We are gonna probably post them both here and on Twitch. We're not affiliate yet on Twitch, so they can't like tell us like, oh, you can't dual stream or whatever. But we're gonna keep it on here and on Twitch for as long as we can, and then I think we're gonna start doing our regular recording sessions probably either on one of the two. Um, but yeah, last night we talked about Andrew Cuomo and basically how he's been an absolute monster, and then how he's sort of blaming cancel culture. Essentially, he's doing the CPAC thing, right? And then we also talked about that weird dude Brooklyn Dad Defiant who was getting paid like tens of thousands of dollars from the Democratic Party to just do Democratic Party propaganda, and that was a fun one. After the 10th, no masks were required, but a lady was arrested in Galveston, and the video is funny. What was she arrested for? Send the video. What was she arrested for? Let me put on the hat. Got the video in Discord. I'll definitely want to take a look at that. Let's see here. So I have a couple of stories to get to, but yeah, like I said before, it's kind of like a slower day. So we can hang and talk if y'all want. But let's see. First one that I saw. All right. How Amazon crushes unions. You know, when I see this, oh no. Oh no. Hold on. Open an incognito window. I hate the New York Times. How Amazon crushes union. Perfect. All right. West Virginia, Richmond, West Virginia. I mean, sorry, Richmond, Virginia. 5 years ago. So this is from David Streetfeld, uh, and this is in the New York Times, the failing New York Times. But how Amazon crushes unions in a secret settlement in Virginia. Amazon swore off threatening and intimidating workers. As the company confronts increased labor unrest, its tactics are under scrutiny. So let's just take a minute to um, think about this for a minute. Now, the right now there's a huge union drive happening in Bessemer, Alabama, where uh, Amazon workers are organizing a union, and excuse me, Amazon workers are organizing a union, and there have been a lot of really, I mean, innovative, I guess you could say, methods of union busting that they've rolled out, including uh, the most remarkable of which are they've created a website called doitwithoutdues.com, which is essentially like, this is why you don't need a union. We are your family, wink, wink. Um, which is like an abusive familial relationship. Anybody that's not been in a great familial relationship isn't going to take that kind of any kind of approach very well. I would imagine. Then also, they were posting on the inside of bathroom stalls union anti-union literature, why you shouldn't join a union while you're trying to like poop, and then also they were found to have been changing streetlight patterns. Like Amazon was somehow able to influence the city of Bessemer from changing their streetlight patterns, um, which is just like, how is that possible? How does this work? But anyway, here is an article from just kind of filling in a lot more of that history that Amazon does union busting. So, Richmond, Virginia, 5 years ago, Amazon was compelled to post a quote notice to employees on break room walls of a warehouse in East Central Virginia. The notice was printed simply in two colors and crammed with words. But for any worker who bothered to look closely, it was a remarkable declaration. Amazon listed 22 forms of behavior it said it would disavow, each beginning in the capital letters, "We will not." Quote, "We will not threaten you with the loss of your job if you are a union supporter," Amazon wrote, according to a photo of the notice reviewed by the New York Times. "We will not interrogate you about the union or engage in surveillance of you." Now, that's very rich considering that Amazon like monitors the movement of its workers and monitors bathroom breaks of workers like extremely tyrannically, like with these or at least it you know, there are stories of them having like bracelets to determine where they're at, like they're in house arrest. Will not interrogate you about the union or engage in surveillance on you while you participate in union activities. We will not threaten you with an unspecified reprisals because you are a union supporter. We will not threaten to get union supporters. Thank you for the link. Amazon posted the list after the International Association of Machinists and Aerospace Workers accused it of doing those very things during a 2-year long push to unionize 30 facilities technicians at the warehouse in Chester, both south of Richmond, just south of Richmond. So they're accused of doing all this stuff, and they're like, no, 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 we're not doing that stuff. We're not surveilling you. We're not interrogating you. We're not doing any of those. They're not threatening you for losing your job now after they're being accused of it. Amazon posted a list. Okay. Um, while Amazon did not admit to violations of labor laws, the company promised in a settlement with federal regulators to tell workers that it would rigorously obey the rules in the future. The employee noticed the employee notice and failed union effort, which have not previously been reported, are suddenly relevant as Amazon confronts increasing labor unrest in the United States. Over 2 decades as the internet retailer mushroomed from a viral bookstore into a $1.5 trillion behemoth, it forcefully and successfully resisted every employee efforts to organize. Some workers in recent years agitated for change in Staten Island, Chicago, Sacramento, Minnesota, but the impact was negligible. So essentially, like this current union drive that's happening in Bessemer is not the first time that this has taken place. I remember, like right at the beginning of COVID, there was a man who was attempting to organize with a union at Amazon, and they completely and utterly just smeared him, and they fired him, or yeah, I think he got fired, and they smeared him, and he's, I'm not exactly sure what he's up to now, but he got a lot of public attention, but he lost his job. Hopefully, he ended up on his feet. Um, the arrival of Corona. Actually, the article might get into that. The arrival of coronavirus last year changed that. It turned Amazon into an essential resource for millions stuck at home. It redefined the company's relationship with its warehouse workers. Like many service industry employees, they were vulnerable to the virus. As society locked down, they were also less able to simply move on if they had issues with the job. Now, Amazon faces a union vote at a warehouse in Bessemer, Alabama, the largest and most viable U.S. labor challenge in its history. Nearly 600,000, nearly 6,000 workers have until March 29th to decide whether to join RWDSU, Retail, Wholesale, and Department Store Union. A labor victory could energize workers in other U.S. communities where Amazon has more than 800 warehouses employing more than 500,000 people. Wow. So again, it does. This is a good job of laying out the stakes. This is what's on the line here. Uh, yeah. Excuse me. Need some Covfefe. This is best cat dad ever mug that I'm working on today. Yeah, that's good coffee. This is happening in the toughest state, with the toughest company, at the toughest moment, said Janice Fine, a professor of labor studies at Rutgers University. If the union can prevail, given those three facts, it will send a message that Amazon is organizable everywhere. Yeah, I've mentioned this before in the past. The fact that like Alabama has a particularly um, horrible and oppressive history of unions, or union suppression, rather, at least in recent history. Amazon is completely undefeated in squashing unions, and right now is one of the most critical moments in American history with the COVID crisis. This is almost like stepping up and stepping into one of the most like hostile situations that has ever kind of faced us. And again, we have a chance. Even if the union does not prevail, the history of unions is always about failing forward, she said. Workers trying, workers losing, workers trying again. The effort in Chester, which the Times reconstructed with documents from regulators at the machine union, as well as interviews with former facilities technicians at the warehouse and union officials, offers some of the fullest pictures of what encourages Amazon workers to open the door to a union and what techniques the company uses to slam the door and nail it shut. You hope they don't get HuffPo'd? What do you mean by HuffPo'd? You said if you get their union, hope they don't get HuffPo'd. I know. I remember what happened to Gawker. They got Peter Thiel just decided to attack them and sue them because of some reporting they did on Hulk Hogan of all people. But I'm not exactly sure what a HuffPo is. I know Ariana Huffington is not a particularly good character in any of this. The employees' notice was a hollow victory for workers. The National Labor Relations Board, the federal agency that negotiated the settlement with Amazon, has no power to impose monetary penalties. Its enforcement remedies are few and weak, which means its ability to restrain anti-union employers from breaking the law is limited. The settlement was not publicized. Dogs are going crazy. was not publicized, so there were not even any public relations benefits. Amazon was a real winner. There have been no further attempts to unionize in Chester. So essentially, this was a clear victory for Amazon. They shut down the California branch after they got their union last month. I didn't know about that. Wow. And I know that Huffington Post, which you're talking about here, is owned by BuzzFeed now. I think at least that's what it is. The tactics that Amazon used in Chester were surfacing everywhere. The Retail Workers Union said Amazon was trying to surveil employees in Bessemer and even change the traffic signal to prevent organizers from approaching warehouse workers as they left the site. Last month, the New York Attorney General said in a lawsuit that Amazon had retaliated against employees who tried to protest its pandemic safety measures as inadequate. So imagine this. You're trying to say, hey, boss, me and all of my coworkers here are concerned because we don't have safety precautions in place for this pandemic. And the boss essentially says, okay, sure, I'll take that in consideration. Oh, by the way, you're fired or whatever. It just unbelievable. I'm gonna have to look that one up because we can bust on BuzzFeed for sure. Amazon declined to say whether it complied with labor laws during the union drive. That means it probably didn't. In Chester in 2014 and 2015. In a statement, it said that it was compliant with National Labor Relations Act in 2016 when it issued the employee notice and, quote, we continue to be compliant today. It added in a different statement that it didn't believe the union push in Alabama, quote, represents the majority of our employees' views. That's basic boss talk. They always, always, always do that. The labor board declined to comment. The Chester settlement notice mentioned one worker by name, Bill Hoff Jr., isolating one person, a machinist who led the union drive. The notice said Amazon had been issued a warning to Mr. Hoff that he was in the verge of being fired. Amazon said it would rescind the warning. So this guy's Huff, okay. This guy's organizing a union. They're like, oh, you're on thin ice there, buddy. You might be getting fired. And then all of a sudden, he calls it out to the NLRB. And I was like, oh, actually, no, we didn't mean that. 6 months later, in 2016, Amazon fired him anyway. Oh, good. Mr. Huff was in the hospital having knee surgery when Amazon called and said he used up his medical leave. Since he couldn't do his job, he said he was told this was the end of the line. Quote, there was no mercy. Even after what they had done to me, Mr. Huff, now 56, said, that's Amazon. You can't give 110. If you can't give 110%, you're done. Amazon declined to comment on Mr. Huff. That is insanity. He not only in 2016 was organizing a union, but he was injured, apparently, probably on the job at Amazon. And basically, because he used up his medical leave, they fired his ass. Incredible. Amazon was founded on the notions of, okay, blah, blah, blah. All right, this is backstory. Okay, a machinist. Mr. Huff worked as an industrial machinist at Reynolds Aluminum Mill in Richmond for 24 years. He once saw a worker lose 4 fingers in a steel roller when our steel roller fell unexpectedly. Incidents like that made a deep impression on him. Never approach equipment casually. So this is background on Huff. Reynolds closed the plant in the Great Recession when Mr. Huff was in his mid-40s. So this is essentially, product of deindustrialization. Being in the Machinist Guild cushioned the blow, but he needed another job, probably because he got some kind of severance package or something. Because when you lose a job as a union member, you often have a little bit of a cushion or something to fall back on. After a long spell of unemployment, he joined Amazon in 2013. The Chester warehouse, the size of several aircraft carriers, had opened a year earlier, and part of Amazon's multi-billion-dollar push to put fulfillment centers everywhere. Mr. Huff worked on the conveyor belts bringing in the goods. At first, he received generally good marks. Quote, he has a great attitude and does not participate in negative comments or situations. Amazon said in his March 2014 performance review. He gets along with all the other technicians, but Huff said he had felt pressured to cut corners to keep the belts running. Amazon prided itself on getting purchases to customers quickly, and when conveyor belts were down, that mission was in jeopardy. He once protested restarting a belt while he was still working on it. Quote, quit your bitching, Mr. Huff said his manager, Brandon Fry, had told him twice. Wow, he said, so he's, that set me down the wrong road, Mr. Huff said. So, oh, wow, this is the guy responded to. So here's a tweet from the Insider paper. Alert, as Amazon faces antitrust scrutiny, counterfeiting, and worker activism, the company is staffing up with some former FBI agents focused on security and intelligence gathering. This is the manager. This is a tweet. I was part of two union campaigns in 2013 and 2014. Maintenance workers in Delaware and Virginia. This doesn't shock me. They do some wild things. What? Huh. Mr. Fry, who declined to comment, no longer works for Amazon. On Twitter last month, he responded to a news story that said Amazon was hiring former FBI agents to deal with worker activism, counterfeiting, and antitrust issues. It doesn't shock me. They do wild things. You regret the amount of stuff you get from Amazon, G Wolf, but you feel Walmart is a greater evil, not by much. I mean, like again, using Amazon as an individual is like it's not optimal, I suppose. However, like there's a this is a structural societal problem. Like you don't actually have choices here, right? It actually costs more to use um, alternatives to Amazon because that's just the way the society is constructed. So it's not like a moral failing to use to use Amazon or whatever. At least not in my opinion. What needs to be done is there need to be policy changes. The idea of voting with your dollars. Actually, Ben Burgess, who's a friend of the show, wrote an article in Jacobin about the idea of voting with your dollars recently. Um, um, and how essentially it benefits people with dollars. If you don't have dollars to vote with, then you're in a necessarily weaker position. That is a fundamental anti-democratic issue with capitalism. Period. The end. Obviously, that doesn't mean you have to use Amazon. I'm just saying that like you shouldn't be tying up your sort of moral self whatever and whether or not you use Amazon. This is kind of the point I'm making here. I could go on here. Maximum green times. Okay, this is about the Alabama. When Amazon vanquished the 2014 drive in Delaware, the retailer said it was a victory for open lines of district communication between managers and associates. That's another one of the things that yeah, you can't help but think about it. You can't help but think about it. And I'm not like telling you not to even think about it. Definitely be like self-critical and evaluate these sorts of things. I'm just sort of like counseling you to be easy on yourself, if you know what I mean. Um, anyway, open lines of district of direct communication between managers and associates. That is something that I think is really interesting because like that's how a lot of times bosses frame um like a union. They frame a union not as the workers kind of united and negotiating as a group. They frame the union as an outside third party that's doing something like that's getting between the relationship between workers and the boss, which is outrage. I mean, it's ridiculous and it's not true. Um, but it's an effective framing device that that this third part. It's called third partying the union, and it's something as simple as you know talking about the union as though it's something that you're not a part of as like a member. If they can get you even thinking like that, then they've already made you give a concession. Um, One place Amazon developed that direct communication was in its warehouse bathrooms under what it calls its installments program. Yeah, carbon footprint, exactly. The carbon footprint is something that was literally made up by the fossil fuel industry to individualize the problem of pollution, to put it on individuals as opposed to the systemic issue that it actually is. It makes it so much easier for for fossil fuel industries or production industry, whatever, to get away with doing as much pollution as they want if they're changing the scope of whatever it is onto the individual, which is politically speaking the least powerful, the least influential, and the least able to make any kind of change. It's almost like I think about it almost in a religious sense too. Like it's a puritanical, like self purity kind of inflection, like instinct that people kind of have. Nobody wants to be a bad person. Nobody wants to be thought of as a bad person. Everybody wants to, or at least most people, everybody wants to think that they're doing good things, and that's taken advantage of. Um, that's taken advantage of to essentially get these companies off the hook. Installments. The installments were informational sheets that offered, for instance, factoids about Mr. Bezos, the timing of meetings, and random warnings, such as the one about unpaid time off. Quote, if you go negative, your employment status will be reviewed for termination. Oh, good. That's a good installment. That's in the bathroom, man. The Union Drive heated up in Bessemer, Alabama. As the Union Drive heated up in Bessemer, Alabama, the direct communication naturally was about that. Where will your dues go? Amazon asked in one stall posting, which circulated on social media. Another proclaimed, unions can't, we can. Amazon also set up a website to tell workers that they would have to skip dinner and school supplies to pay their union dues, which is just like, wow, that's a step up from the old Delta campaign, Delta Airlines a couple of years ago. Did an article, or they did a poster, and I remember it said like, "Oh, you can buy a Nintendo Switch for the same price as your yearly union dues," which is like $600, which is like, come on, man. You can get higher, you can negotiate to collectively for higher wages if you have a union and get a Switch too. Like it's absolutely ridiculous framing. In December, a pro-union group discovered Amazon asked county officials to increase the quote maximum green times on the warehouse stoplight to clear the parking lot faster. This made it difficult for union canvassers to approach potential voters as they left work. Amazon declined to comment. Last month, President Biden weighed in. This is great. Like again, like Joe Biden sucks, but this is a good thing. There should be no intimidation, no coercion, no threats, no union propaganda, he said in a video that never mentioned Amazon, but referred to quote the workers in Alabama deciding whether to organize a union. You know, every worker should have a free and fair choice to join a union. The law guarantees that choice. We talked about that on this program. Owning 25 hats. Mr. Huff, in an interview before the pandemic, this is a long article, I'm sorry, but I think this is really important. Mr. Huff, in an interview before the pandemic, said part of him wanted to forget what had happened in Alabama. Why dwell on defeat? I disagree with why dwell on defeat. Like this is a story that's really like important, and like the struggle, like knowing what happened in the struggle is actually good sort of institutional knowledge for working class people, and he could help so many people with that information. Anyway, he threw away all the papers from the union drive. He never saw the employee notice because he was recovering from a stroke. Good Lord. This dude went through it. But he has not forgiven the retailer. Quote, "You're only going to step on me one time," he said, setting up his home on the outskirts of Richmond. Sitting in his home. Outskirts of Richmond. Amazon's customers just don't know how miserable a job there can be. I guarantee you, if their child had to work there, you'd think twice before purchasing things, he said. Well, Mr. Huff, Mrs. Huff, or Ms. Huff, sitting next to him, had a bleaker view. Quote, "The customers don't care about unions. They don't care about the workers. They just want their packages," she said. I mean, that's partially true. I mean, people just want their stuff. So what do you do about it? Um, as if on cue, their son Brody came in. He was 20, an appliance technician. His mother told them there was a package for him on his bed. It was from Amazon, a fishing hat. It cost $25. Brody said half the price on the manufacturer's website. Quote, "I order from Amazon anything I could find that is cheaper," Brody said. "It adds up to a lot of hats, about 25. I've never worked for Amazon. I can't hate them," he said. Well, that's a little bit of a weird take, kid. I mean, like, you could definitely hate Amazon. Um, Mrs. Hoff looked at her husband. "If your son doesn't care," she asked, not unkindly. Okay, this is a kind of like a weird, odd story. I don't want to like get too much into that. The pandemic helped change that, bringing safety issues to Amazon to the forefront. In a February 16th suit against Amazon, the New York Attorney General, Letitia James, said that the company continued last year to track the discipline and discipline employees based on their productivity rates. That meant workers had limited time to protect themselves from the virus. I can't wear a mask. I'm busy working. I can't, social distance. I'm busy working. The suit said that Amazon retaliated against those who complied, sending a quote chilling message to all its workers. Amazon has denied the allegations. Last week, regional Canadian authorities also ordered thousands of workers at Amazon warehouse near Toronto to quarantine themselves, effectively closing the facilities. Some 240 workers recently tested positive for the virus there. Holy crap. A government spokeswoman said even as the rate of infection in the area fell. Amazon said it was appealing the decision. So it's basically saying, oh, 240 people got COVID here. Okay. Oh, you're telling us to close down? No. Alabama is now the big test. Mr. Huff worries the union supporters will be crushed. Quote, "They will fall to threats or think, I won't have a job. Amazon will replace me," he said by phone this month. "When a company can do things to you in secret, it's real hard to withstand. Still," he added, "I'm hoping for the best. More power to them." I think that was a mostly really good article. Um, it kind of hit on some of the really important notes. The framing of Amazon as bad is correct. That little family story was a little bit weird at the end. Um, I don't know. Seemed a little bit odd. But yeah, I like that. So let's see. Let me open that story in Discord that G Wolf just sent. Holy shit. BuzzFeed lays off 70 HuffPost staffers in a massive restructure less than a month after acquisition. Okay. Is there a video? No, that's not related. I hate when they have articles that have a video that's not related to the story. Okay. So HuffPost originally merged with BuzzFeed on February 16th. Less than a month later, the site's staff is being dramatically cut. Huh. BuzzFeed CEO Jonah Peretti. I know BuzzFeed has a union. I don't know if Huffington Post does, or maybe I'm back. I think no. I think it was BuzzFeed had a union. BuzzFeed CEO Jonah Peretti announced Tuesday that 47 of the 190 HuffPost employees in the U.S. would be laid off, and that HuffPost Canada would be shut down, affecting 23 employees. HuffPost Union, okay, HuffPost does have a union. HuffPost Union said the cuts in the U.S. affected 33 of its members, representing 30% of its unit. Peretti told staffers that the cuts were made to manage cost, adding that HuffPost's losses exceeded $20 million last year and would be estimated to be similar this year. Holy crap. Quote, though BuzzFeed is a profitable company, we don't have the resources to support another 2 years of losses. The most responsible thing we can do is manage our costs and ensure BuzzFeed and HuffPost are set up to prosper long term, Peretti said. That's why we've made the difficult decision to restructure HuffPost to reach profitability more quickly. Our goal by laying off workers. Yes, we'll become very, very profitable by firing so many people. Great. Our goal is to break even this year. Yeah. Yeah, that sucks. It sucks for, obviously all of those people that are out of work because of that, specifically. The HuffPost union criticized management for the decision in a statement on Tuesday. We are devastated and infuriated, particularly after an exhausting year of covering a pandemic and working from home, HuffPost union said on Tuesday. This is also happening less than a month after HuffPost was acquired by BuzzFeed. We never got a fair shot to prove our worth. Yeah, that's true. HuffPost has operated without an editor-in-chief since Lydia Polgreen left in March of the last year to work at Gimlet Media, who is also in the midst of union negotiations, by the way. We covered that on this show. Peretti told staffers Tuesday that the company is in final interview stages for a new top editor and expects to name a successor in the coming weeks. Huh. Well, that's no good. Thumbs down for Huffington Post, or the HuffPost, or whatever it's called now. They got the Ington taken off. Where is? I know you sent that. Here it is. Okay, body cam footage of arrest at Galveston Bank. All right, so G Wolf sent this a little bit ago, which is gonna be fun. So Texas has opened back up its super fisheye. Texas has opened back up its state. It's rolled back mask mandates and it's essentially Wild West. But businesses can still tell people you need to wear a mask in here. It's just not an official mandate by. And correct me if I'm wrong on this. If it's not officially enforced by the state of Texas at this point. So this woman went to Bank of America and told her to put a mask on. And essentially, one of the things about business is you can tell people to leave. And well, this happened. Let's watch the video. Super fisheye lens. Oh my God, that's giving me a headache. You see most people have their masks on.
Hello. Okay.
That lady doesn't.
I'll say if
oh, is this a police camera?
My money's in this bank, and I'm going to take it out.
Well, then you have to abide by the rules, and you have to have a mask on.
This is a state.
It's not. Businesses have the right to refuse service, even if you're not wearing a mask. That's their choice. Awesome. Well, you need to go and get a mask and then take your money out. You're not allowed to do. Ma'am, listen, we're going to do this the easy way or the hard way.
What are you going to do? Arrest me?
Yes, for intruding on premises.
That's hilarious.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah. And you believe in this?
I believe in it.
Do you believe in this?
The laws, yes.
The law says that I do not have to wear a mask.
You can not in public, but you're not in public. You're not in public.
Yes.
I'm not going to argue with you about this. This is not a public place. This is a private business. No, you're not. We're going to go outside.
Are you serious?
So she asked the cop if he believes in this, and one of the things that I kind of wonder what she meant, do you believe in this being a private business or anything like that, or do you believe in COVID by and large? And that's sort of that sort of makes me think that this lady is probably a Q, and like she's like the kind of people who are, COVID is, scamdemic, that kind of thing. She might be doing this to be epic and to essentially like get, famous online or something. I don't know. I kind of I've kind of become a little bit to expect that a lot more these days. But let's continue.
Do I look like I'm kidding?
Well, I don't know because
Let's walk
obviously
outside.
you've got some issues
I've got issues.
that you're taking away
Okay.
people's human rights.
Okay.
Oh,
Let's go
now
outside.
is he
Go
going to
outside.
shoot me, people? Is
No.
he going to shoot me for trying not to breathe?
Cool.
Come on, dude.
Don't do that. Oh no.
Do not touch me. Who do you think you are?
Point time. One
Oh, back up. Some old lady is getting handcuffed here.
Oh yeah, this is definitely, she's doing this on purpose. Oh, whoa.
Ma'am,
Are
put
you?
your hands behind your back. Say it. You don't stop resisting. Stop.
Is anybody gonna like get real here? Really?
Relax.
No one's gonna get real? Wow.
Come on.
Oh, you smashed my up and down now? Now you're smashing my arm into my private.
This is like one of those there's no good guys in this story sort of situation. I don't know, like she's definitely trying to incite like she's trying to like piss this cop off, and this cop is like acting like a cop. If you know what I mean. Like, I don't know. He basically said that she was resisting arrest before anything. Maybe he anticipated it or something like that. I don't know. I just reflexively don't want to give any benefit of the doubt to the cop, but I definitely don't want to give benefit of the doubt to this lady.
Really?
Relax.
No one's gonna get real? Wow.
No one's gonna get what? What did she say?
Is anybody gonna like get real here?
No one's gonna get real
Really?
here?
Relax.
No one's gonna get real? Wow.
Come on.
Oh, you smashed my up and down now? Now you're smashing my arm into my private area?
Your private area?
Yeah.
Put your hands behind your back.
My hand is behind my back, sir.
This one. Turn over on your stomach. Put your hand behind your back. Relax.
I'm totally relaxed.
No, you are not relaxed. Not relaxed at all.
Right here, people.
Nah.
Wow, what a bunch of sheep.
She's like trying to appeal to like people at the bank, like saying like, "Hey, you with me?" And they're all like, "No." Like most people, like this is where I also like to go with these sorts of things. Like I kind of think about this a lot. Like these like I'm just gonna assume that this is a Q person, but like they think that their position is more popular than it is. They think that most people don't believe in the pandemic, and they think it's very, very like common sense to them. And then she just had a moment. If you watch, like she did it a couple of times. She tried to like be, oh, nobody's gonna get real or whatever. What do you mean? Like they're gonna like step up and like shout this cop down or whatever? They're gonna de-arrest this like lady who's trying to like get away without wearing a mask. But then at the same time, like she's like saying, like, watch this part again.
No, you are not relaxed. Not relaxed at all.
Right here, people. Wow, what a bunch of sheep.
Not relaxed at all.
She's calling this police brutality, which like, I mean, she's calling it police brutality when she's literally like, look, the cop didn't touch her other than to get her hands behind her back. And like, that's, doing that is ridiculous. But she's also trying to cry police brutality when nothing happened. The cop didn't do anything.
Not relaxed.
Which really kind of pisses me off, because like essentially that's like police brutality. Like that is something that is like when George Floyd or when like Sandra Bland or when any of these people who are like actually harmed and killed by police, when you call police brutality on that, they're often like they'll deny it. They'll be like, no, 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 they deserved it or whatever. And in this situation where this lady did basically just get like handcuffed, which like don't get me wrong, that sucks. I've been handcuffed before and it's not cool. But she's essentially declaring that this is police brutality when the cop did not hit her or anything like that as well. And like again, not not saying like I don't know what the actual answer to this was. I don't know a different way that this could have gone. Considering that the way the things are, it feels to me like this lady was expecting this to happen the entire time.
Not relaxed at all.
Right here, people. No, what a bunch of sheep.
What a bunch of sheep. She's calling them sheep.
Someone's filming this. They're hurting me.
Oh, I'm filming it.
This is like
Yeah,
this
okay.
is like cutting me.
Stand up. Stand up. Stand yourself up.
And how do you suggest, sir? I am like a 65-year-old woman here.
Okay.
What
Sit
are
up.
you doing?
Stand up.
Ayúdame, por favor.
Stand up.
Ayúdame, por favor.
Are you trying to speak Spanish to people?
I do speak Spanish.
Okay, well, stand up.
Are you happy now, lady?
Okay.
I'm not happy. You
Okay, stand up. Stand up.
I refuse to listen to the.
Come on.
You know what? I think
She's getting your stuff. Come on.
I think you broke my freaking foot,
Okay, I'll call her.
and that's my business over there.
Yeah, she's going to pick it up. Come on. We're going outside.
And then there's a whole bunch of cops just
One
showing up.
custody.
That's wild,
Wow.
man. Like
Not wearing a mask, people. This is what they do to you.
protect with respect.
Slow, buddy, on.
Okay, I got my dog in my truck.
I got you. I'm 10-4. Send EMS for a 60-year-old white female. She's complaining of foot pain.
You
Take a
broke
seat.
my damn foot.
Take a seat.
49, we're out with her. Okay.
God,
Take a seat.
Where's your mask? Where's
Thank
your mask?
Karen.
Away from you. Oh, well, I was 6 feet away from those people
All
in
right,
there, too.
in there. Get inside.
Come on, you guys.
Get
Let's
inside.
get real.
Yeah. Okay. That's enough of that. Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know what else there is to say. I said it all during there. Essentially, like this lady wants to, she went in there anticipating it. The cop, like, obviously did what cops do, which is arrest people. Is there a different way you can go when it comes to mask stuff like that? I don't know. But that lady was definitely like looking for trouble. It looked like to me. Whatever. Thanks to G Will for sending that. I don't know why we have all these Karens that do this kind of stuff all the time. It's kind of ridiculous. But obviously, like, this is a story with no good guys. That cop is guilty for just on basis of being a cop, and that lady is ridiculous for, one. Well, how many things do you count? She was not wearing the mask when asked by multiple people not to wear it. Like, Jesus Christ, we're in the middle of a pandemic. She started calling people sheep. She cried out police brutality. Just the worst behavior. Ugh. And then was accusing him of like breaking his foot or whatever when she was walking just fine on it. If she had broken her foot, she would have been in a lot more visible pain. I don't know. Regardless, all cops are bastard, and that lady is also horrible. Definitely, almost certainly a Q person that was looking for a problem. Anyway, that's going to do it for today. You should support our program. You can do so by giving us donations at patreon.com/goodmorningcomrade. You can also watch our show here every day, rather, Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. Share our stuff, share our account, subscribe. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to send y'all on to Cyberdemon 531, who's starting her show any minute now. Oops, shut up. So here you go. Here's the Linkarino.